Welcome so much. Welcome to the AUREA Leaders event. I'm so excited to sit with you and hear about all of your wisdom. If you can just, for people who don't know you, introduce yourself, what you do, and then your topic here, AUREA Leaders, as a speaker.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. My name is Dr. Nathalie Henrich. I specialize in Tantra, sacred sexuality, and womb healings for women. And I'm very adamant about teaching about sexuality, their breath, and just commanding your body and commanding your energy.
Great. I love all of that. But before we get into that, I have a question for you. What does the golden age mean to you?
The golden age for me means that everybody lives in peace and love, and that we're all here to live our true purpose. We're not here to chase bills and chase money and all of that. We're here to live our purpose and elevate our earth.
Lovely. And how do you feel that the work that you do plays into the golden age?
Well, I truly feel that when everybody knows more about their sexual energy and knows how to command it, that we're going to be able to live in a higher purpose and not be so caught up in our lower chakras in the animalistic realms and the primal realms.
Yeah.
We're really going to be able to elevate that and use it for the right purposes.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So your talk here at AUREA, it touches on that. Is there anything else that you're going to be speaking on?
So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be learning about sexual breath, about orgasmic breath, because we can use our orgasmic energy to manifest things, because the sexual energy or the orgasmic energy is the most powerful energy existing. So we're actually not supposed to use it just to feel good and have an orgasm. We're supposed to use that energy and manifest with it and create new life through that.
Beautiful. So what would be someone's starting point if someone was like, that sounds amazing, but I'm also overwhelmed because it's changing the whole way I've thought about orgasmic energy or anything having to do with orgasms.
Yeah.
So what would be like the first step for someone to start going in this direction?
So I think the first step is to truly understand that something needs to change inside of you and in your patterns, right? Because our sexuality, our relationships that we have cause us a lot of trauma. So when we're sick and tired to relive this trauma over and over again, the pain that comes with relationships and love and sexuality and all of that we all know about, once we're sick and tired of it, we're truly wanting to learn what it is that I can do more with that. There's another thing that I can learn more that can add on to my life and helps me to live in a better alignment when it comes to love and relationships and partnerships. So when you understand that and when you truly seek that, that's when you can learn more about your breath, about how to use your orgasmic energy, how to use your sexuality in a higher purpose and make it more beautiful in your life and make it more, like live it in more ease.
Absolutely, that sounds amazing. So, is there maybe, you were talking about maybe like this breath work that we can do. Can you give me an example of that? Can we do a little bit of that right now?
Yeah. So we can access our own Kundalini, our own sexual energy by ourselves. We don't have to have sex, actual physical sex intercourse to access that. We can access it on our own. So the first step is to pull your mula bandha, to pull your sexual organs, to squeeze them as if you were holding your pee, right? So you squeeze it, and when you squeeze it, you breathe in as you squeeze. So you squeeze your muscles down there, your perineum, you squeeze it really hard, and you breathe up, and you cycle it into your third eye. And then you breathe out. You cycle it back into your perineum, you squeeze, breathe out through your spine, and cycle it back. Breathe out, cycle it back into your perineum one more time. You squeeze, breathe up, and then breathe out. So what you're doing with that, you're creating a cycle of your own sexual energy, of your own orgasmic energy. And through that exercise, you can learn eventually, when you go into an orgasmic realm, you can learn how to pull your orgasmic energy back into your body and achieve a full body orgasm. So when you achieve that, that's when all the realms can open. You can go into the higher portals, you can talk to your angels, your guides, you go into different temple spaces. Like there's a whole realm that you can access only through that breath.
And is that difficult per se, or does it take like a lot of deep work to be able to get to that?
You know what? It's actually not. Like, if you're already somebody that's very psychic and then you're already conscious, you already worked on these things, and it's pretty easy to go in there into that realm. If you have already done meditations, if you've been able to tap into certain spaces, it's pretty easy to do it. I think it's harder for people that have never heard about it and never done any meditation, never done any breath work. That's like, okay, you have to kind of, you know, tap into that. But yeah, I think for somebody like you, for instance, it would be super easy to go into it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And so what would you say, and this is more of a question for on the entrepreneurial side, what would you say to someone who is an AUREA leader or a striving, you know, spiritual entrepreneur? What advice would you give them about going down that path?
Now I gotta think. What advice?
Yeah, like what is something you wish somebody would have told to you?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, what I wish people would have told me when I started my journey is that it is not as hard as we think, and don't admire people for something. You know, it's all already in us. So if I would have known from the beginning that I hold all the keys already inside of me, I feel like my path would have been less challenging and less critical on myself. You know, I would be less harder on myself, thinking that I still miss this, I still have to do that, I still, you know, I have to do so many things in order to get there. And I feel like the more I know, the more I understand I don't have to go nowhere. It's all already here, and I just remember it, and that's it. And it can happen in literally 10 minutes. It doesn't have to happen over many, many years.
Yeah, remembering who you are.
Yeah.
Like how you came into this world.
Yeah.
I love that. And what would you say, is there, I have two more questions, but with this one, is there a methodology or a process that one can follow to be able to use their orgasmic energy to manifest? Is there like maybe like a 3-step process? I'm sure some of it is doing the breath work. I'm sure that falls somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we can be doing?
Yes, so breathwork definitely is like one of the first, and then the second is to become present and not have goal-oriented sex. Like go into a relationship, into a sexual, you know, encounter with yourself or the other without any goals. Like, don't have any expectations. Unlearn everything that you know about how an orgasm has to feel. Oh, now you have to kiss each other, now you have to do this, like, you know how we have our checklist of what we need to do. Unlearn all of that. Like, forget about it and be open to something completely different, right? Where we eye gaze, where we don't kiss, we don't have to touch each other. We can just breathe, we can talk, we can be present, we can create a beautiful space with candles, flowers, water, whatever, and just create a very different scenario of how intimacy can look. So forget about everything else and go into that realm.
Beautiful, thank you. And one final question. And this question is more like, what would you tell another speaker, maybe a thought leader just like you, who has a lot of wisdom to share, that wants to potentially come to another AUREA event? What value have you gained that you'd want to share with that speaker? I know we just started the event, but maybe you've seen like the connections that can be made, or maybe you've seen potential clients or the energy. But what would you say to that person?
Well, definitely finding a lot of beautiful, like-minded people, a lot of light beings. It's just, you see, when people work with the light, you just see a different shine, right? I come into AUREA and I see, wow, everybody's shining, everybody has that light around them. That connections, having clients, and also I'm getting very inspired when I come to AUREA and I see it. I'm getting very inspired of how we can change the world and how we come together as a community and truly make an impact on so many people, and then we can go back into our little small circles and we can create from there, right? So it's almost like a dock-on station where we can like connect to that light energy, to that light source, and we can get recharged, and then we can get out there and do the work and help the world to change.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Nathalie. Is that what you go by?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, wasn't sure if I should say your last name, but thank you. This has been very insightful. I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and your work, and if possible, watching your speech on stage tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.